Good morning. Welcome to a brand new year. We're going to finish up our study of the life of Christ. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we'll try to complete it and then start into a new study within the next month and a half or so. It was cold, so the servants and officials started a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down, and Peter sat with them. What we're looking at is Peter's denial of Jesus, and this is in Mark 14, verses 66 through 72, and Luke 22, 55 through 62. Peter's first problem was that he followed at a distance, according to Mark 14:54. And when we follow Jesus from a distance, it's hard to make a proper stand for him at a critical time. Next, Peter sat with the servants and warmed himself at the fire. Peter found fellowship and warmth in the company of the ungodly. Having forsaken the fellowship of the fleeing disciples, Peter wanted to seem just like one of the crowd, not a follower of Jesus. And finally, the officials who struck Jesus are the same people as the servants that asked Peter the questions. And Peter sat and associated himself with the same men that beat Jesus, and he told him that he didn't belong. First denial, number one. One of the high priest's servant girls saw Peter sitting in the firelight. She looked to him closely and said, "You also were with that Nazarene, Jesus, and aren't you one of his disciples?" "I don't know what you're talking about," Peter said. A hostile man of authority interrogated Jesus. Peter was interrogated by a servant girl, and it was enough to make Peter deny Jesus. Peter denied the charge using a form of common rabbinic law called a legal denial. Second denial. Then he went into the entryway, and the servant girl saw him and said to those standing around, "He's one of them." Peter denied it with an oath. "I do not know the man." Peter denied Jesus three specific ways. First, Peter denied even knowing Jesus. "Woman, I do not know him." Then he denied being a follower. "Man, I am not a follower." And then he even denied that he was from Galilee. "Man, I don't know what you're saying." Third denial, about an hour later, one of the high priest's servants saw Peter. "Didn't I see you with Jesus in the olive grove?" Servant asked. He was a relative of Malchus, whose ear Peter had cut off. Peter denied it again. People standing said, Your Galilean accent gives you away. You must be one of the disciples." And Peter began to call curses upon himself and swore, "Listen, I don't know the man. I don't know what you're talking about." Rooster crowed. Just as he was speaking, Jesus turned around and looked straight at Peter. And Peter remembered, "Before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times." And he went out and wept.